Yo, what's up guys? AFC Dino here and welcome to a new video. This video was basically today or when the video goes live maybe a few days back, I had my first coaching session for my Patreon. One of my viewers wanted the coaching session with me, and so he subscribed. I also knew the guy a while, so he hit me up, and yeah, we did get to it. But yeah, when he was signing up for the coaching session, I specifically asked him what he wanted to get out of it, and yeah, he told me he had a bit of struggle with predicting. Well, we were kind of focusing on that part in battling in this session. It was a really good session. Unfortunately, when I was recording the session, my mic was muted. So when we did the review and such, it's not you cannot hear it. But the way I'm doing it now is I'm just gonna go over his gameplay because the way he wanted it is was just playing and me observing. Sometimes he would ask me a few questions and I would answer, but he would decide to turn on his own, and I would just note down important parts and basically talk over it after the game. That's how we went into it. So when we were playing, I basically asked him to basically commentate for me, just share what he was thinking, so I got a better idea. And yeah, the first thing I asked him when we started the battle, he sent me the poker face beforehand, so I kind of knew what he was working with. But yeah, when we were going into team preview, I was asking him what is strong versus your opponent on your team, and what is strong versus your team on your opponent's team. And that's what I was asking, and he told me Ukelder can be a bit of an issue because he does have Skarmory, but the opponent has Magnezone as well. And if it's Ice Punch Conkeldurr, that can be trouble for Among Us because he gets 2-hit KO'd. He also told me that Starmie basically takes care of 5 Pokemon on his team, which is true. The only thing that's stopping it is Chansey. So we cannot let Chansey get too low, because it's gonna be problematic in the end game if something happens with Chansey, especially if that Starmie is like Life Orb Psyshock, because that's gonna do a lot of damage with Analytic. And on our side, Mienshao looks really strong versus our opponent. So basically, my game plan would have been. He told me what was strong, but we didn't really go over a game plan. That's something I keep in mind for next time. But the game plan should be here: get up Stealth Rock, and then click buttons with Mienshao. Because the moment Stealth Rocks are up, Mandibuzz cannot come in on Mienshao because he's going to get 2-hit KO'd. And Swampert gets 2-hit KO'd as well. Conkeldurr gets 2-hit KO'd. Starmie takes a lot of damage because it's not Starmie, unless Starmie's like bulky recover, he cannot consistently come in on close combat. Magnezone will die. So that should be our game plan on winning. And if the Blissey ever falls, it's Specs Salamence. Blissey ever does die, Specs Salamence also goes in and claims a few kills with Draco Meteor, as the opponent doesn't really have any counterplay to that. And yeah, so the goal is basically try to get up Stealth Rock with Guard Jump. If we trade Stealth Rock, that's completely fine because Mienshao doesn't care too much about it. And yeah, this is where our boy chose to lead off with Mienshao, which is fine. It's fake out Mienshao. You can basically fake out anything and U-turn to go from there. So we just go over it. I'm gonna mute his commentary though. I actually haven't asked if I can use his commentary. The first part was muted as well, but he was fine with me using this for content. So he leads off with his Mienshao against the Swampert. We're going to see a fake out coming out in turn 1. And on the right side, you see me note down certain plans. So the game plan was defensively keep Among Us alive, so we don't we don't lose to Conkeldurr straight away. And yeah, fake out comes out there. And offensively get up rocks and click buttons with Mian Xiao. Those are the two main game plans. Obviously, game plan will shift or change throughout the game. Here, we're gonna see. We're gonna calc the damage. This is something he did preemptively on his own. Really nice. Because judging from the fake out, you can see what kind of Swampert this was. We did 12 and 12.2. So basically, look at fake out, and as we change the EVs, and we see that the between 12 and 14, so it's a fully physical defensive Swampert. So he U-turns out, and here is something. Here's a bit of a mistake he made on this turn, because he U-turns. Amoonguss would normally be good versus Swampert, but this is the thing about predictions, guys. By going into Amoonguss here, he needs to make a prediction. And this is something I wanted to emphasize in this session with him. The reason that a lot of you guys think I make some crazy predictions, but that's not true. I put myself into positions in which I don't really have to predict. He decided to go Amoonguss, so I immediately wrote it down. I immediately noted down what was going on there. So we saw him going into Amoonguss. Because he has Amoonguss in, he clicks Stealth Rock. But what is Amoonguss going to do in this situation, right? Is he gonna click Spore? Is he gonna click Giga Drain? Is he gonna click Sludge Bomb? This Amoonguss didn't have Sludge Bomb, by the way. So that's already that's already a thing. If it had Sludge Bomb, you could make a case. But yeah, it didn't have Sludge Bomb, so he goes into Amoonguss. Blissey and Mandibuzz are pretty much risk-free plays. The other play he should have made was going to his Chansey. It's teleport Chansey, right? Stealth Rock weren't up yet, so he could have gone into Chansey here instead of Amoonguss, and then click teleport. Because if you have Chansey in, what is your opponent going to bring in versus you? Maybe he goes into Starmie, because Starmie has natural cure, perhaps. Maybe he goes into his Blissey. Then it's a Spadef Garchomp. Then you can get up your own rocks, for example. You can get in Mian Xiao, like we initially said. Maybe he's gonna swap out into Magnezone, who knows? You still get the teleport off, then you get in Garchomp and get up rocks or click Earthquake. If he goes into Mandibuzz on your Chansey, you still get the teleport, and you still get to bring in Garchomp and click Stealth Rock. Force your opponent to maybe defog. But now by going into Amoonguss, because when this happened, he was also thinking, what should I click here? But he wouldn't have needed to think. We already went over all this, but I'm basically doing this again so he can watch it again. He was fine with me uploading this on the channel, so he decided. I think he just decided to click Giga Drain, and Mandibuzz comes in indeed. So here's something I wrote down as well, because he had Amoonguss in, and we don't see leftovers on. We don't see leftovers on the Mandibuzz. Remember, guys, Roost got nerfed with the new update. It only has a maximum of 8 PP. Because look what happens. He's switching out there because he thinks Amoonguss doesn't do anything versus Mandibuzz. Well, the opposite is true as well. The play he should have made here was just staying in and click whatever attack he wants. You can click Giga Drain, you can click Clear Smog, you can even click Hidden Power Fire. You just click an attack, because Mandibuzz is not a threat to us. Offensively, at least. Mandibuzz is not a threat. It doesn't get Sword Stance. It does get Nasty Plot though. But I've never seen Nasty Plot Mandibuzz. It doesn't get Dragon Dance, it doesn't get Quiver Dance or something. The best thing he can do is click Brave Bird. That's gonna do about 40% to us. But he's gonna take Recoil. And he's gonna take Rocky Helmet damage. And if he does Brave Bird, we get to find out that he is Brave Bird. because that's something you want to check. You want to get information, right? You want to know what is his Mandibus running. If Mandibus isn't running Bravebird, then Mian Shao becomes even stronger because Mandibus cannot kill Mian Shao. So he should have just stayed in with Amoongus. Because there was literally no risk, and if you take a Bravebird, you switch out, get a lot of HP back with Regenerator. But yeah, he decided to go into Skarmory here, and I didn't agree. That's why staying in would have been better as well. You guys know that I sometimes use Mandibus, right? I use U-turn on my Mandibus. I've seen other people use U-turn after I used it a bunch on Mandibus as well. If that Mandibus U-turn there, Skarmory coming in on rocks, takes the U-turn damage, Magnezone comes in, Skarmory dead, and we're gonna be in a bit of trouble there. Because then Conkeldurr becomes even more scary. Luckily though, it was taunt Mandibus. I was writing everything down there, as you guys can see on the right screen. So he swaps out there, goes into Magnezone, and here he makes a prediction anticipating the jump, which is nice. So I wrote down that this was a pretty good dealing with that situation, because now he can get up his own rocks. As Mandibus comes in, so because that play kind of saved him a bit, because he was otherwise getting further and further behind. But he gets up rocks, and now he goes for the Toxic. This is Spadef Garchomp, so he goes for Toxic. He misses. That's really unfortunate, so he has to take a foul play to the face. And because of that miss, he was scared to click Toxic again, but honestly, I would have just considered clicking Toxic again. If Starmie comes in, it's still fine, because Starmie takes Stealth Rock damage and gets poison damage. If that's Life Orb Starmie, then he's gonna be on the timer. And if it's leftover Starmie, we can go Chansey Teleport. It's not a big issue. So honestly, I would have just clicked Toxic again here, but he was afraid to click Toxic. I think he opted to go for Dragon Tail, and that's gonna put him into a really awkward position, because look what is happening here. He Brave Birds. So he did reveal Brave Bird there. He gets the crit. That's really unfortunate, but this is the big thing. He Dragon Tails him out, and he takes Recoil. The only good thing is Mandibus did take a lot of damage there, because he has to come in on rocks. But we didn't need all that damage on Mandibus anyway. All we needed was to get up Stealth Rock. Now our Garchomp is really low, and we Dragon Tail him into Starmie, which is an option as well that happens now. Which means this is the worst case scenario, because now we are going to lose our Stealth Rock due to Rapid Spin, while Garchomp is really low. So he's going to switch here into the Chansey, which is obviously just a fine play. I think he was lagging here a bit as well. He switches into Chansey, comes in on Psychic. Really good to know that this is Psychic instead of Psyshock. That way we can take a bit more damage on the Chansey. And it's Life Orb Starmie, guys. It's Life Orb Starmie. So the play here, he opted to go for a Wish, which is fine, but I would have preferred the Soft Boil, just because we kind of want to keep this Chansey really healthy. Because look what happens. We kind of want to keep this really healthy, but it wasn't really likely that he would click Rapid Spin on us, so we get the Wish up. But the play here is something I don't like. He clicks Teleport here, while Stealth Rocks are still up, while he's this low. Because if Chansey switches out now, he's gonna be at 50%. If I was the opponent, that's what I told him. If I was his opponent, from here, if he made that play against me, I would have tried everything to not let this Chansey heal make it hell for him. The better play, in my opinion, was just to click Seismic Dose here. If Starmie stays in, we get nice damage of. If Conkeldurr comes in, we still take 25%. We still do like a lot of damage to the Conkeldurr. I even wrote it down because what we're doing here is Chansey would have been full. Amoonguss is still full HP, so we can still bring it in on him. We have Salamence, spec Salamence in the back. So we have options to kill this, but it's Life Orb Starmie. So we teleport out here. Next time we're gonna be at 50% when we switch in, and he does get the free healing on Garchomp. But the thing is, he could have made this exact play. He could have made this exact play against Starmie, against Blissey, against Swampert, against Magnezone. But he would have still kept his chance really high with high HP. Because had he made the other play, he would have gotten damage off on the Conkeldurr. And he would have kept Chansey back at full HP. Because Chansey can... If something happens with the Garchomp, Chansey can still deal with the Magnezone easily. And remember, if Conkeldurr dies, guys, Chansey kind of destroys his whole team, aside from the Mandibuzz, of course. But, yeah. He's gonna swap out here, because he's fearing the Ice Punch. But if anything needs to take it out, Amoonguss is literally there for the Conkeldurr. But he decides to go Skarmory because he was afraid of Ice Punch. I would have still gone Amoonguss there, because he's gonna take Rocky Helmet damage. We have Clear Smog, so if this is Bulk Up Conkeldurr, we Clear Smog him. If it's Ice Punch, Amoonguss doesn't die from full HP. And then we can just switch into Skarmory on the next turn, get the Regenerator, sack the Skarmory, and get in Salamence or something. A play like that. But then we would have gotten Rocky Helmet damage of. He did go for Stone Edge, which would have done less than 50%. And I think here he's gonna double again. He's gonna switch out again, anticipating the Amoonguss. I would have just considered... I think he goes Garchomp here. But I would have considered going Amoonguss. I feel like Amoonguss is a bit of a safer play, because he could have also clicked Close Combat there. Skarmory would have died to Close Combat there, for example, right? Because we don't know if it's Close Combat or Drain Punch yet. He only clicks Stone Edge, because if he clicks Close Combat there, your Garchomp is basically gonna die. But he does anticipate the Magnezone coming in, which is fine. He gets up Rocks again. Ends up working out. I'm just looking at, because we don't know what our opponent is thinking, and we want to put us into a position in which we don't have to predict, of course. So by going Amoonguss there, we cover him going for that Close Combat, right, with the Amoonguss. And if he made this exact play, we have Amoonguss in, which Magnezone doesn't do much against. And if Magnezone did come in, and if we did have Amoonguss versus Magnezone, we have Garchomp at full HP, so we can switch in Garchomp there, so we cannot Volt Switch. Because Magnezone is probably gonna fear the Spore from the Amoonguss, so he's most likely either Volt Switching or going hard Mandibuzz. And then you have the initial situation in which you can get up Rocks. But here we just risked Garchomp taking a Close Combat to the face there. Because Stone Edge Close Combat is not an uncommon set. Yeah, we get up Rocks. And he goes for Toxic, which is a good play, of course. And I think we Dragon Tail him out there. We just want to get up Rocks, and we don't want Mandibuzz in, because even if he's full HP, he's still gonna get 2-hit KO by Close Combat. So we Dragon Tail him out there. Into the Conkeldurr, which isn't ideal, but we literally have Amoonguss there. If Amoonguss cannot wall Conkeldurr, then it's useless anyway, because it doesn't do much against the others. of his team. So it just does go straight into Among Us this time. On a Drain Punch, so this one had Drain Punch. But we just found out right now. Here, you just click Giga Drain. You should click Giga Drain. I'm not sure what he did here anymore. I did click Giga Drain. The reason is we want to create. Remember the first game plan, guys? I'm free framing it. Remember the first game plan. Get up rocks and click buttons with me and Shao. Our opponent going into Blissey is just a free switch into our me and Shao. I wouldn't even think about anything else here than by going me and Shao. Because we got the perfect situation. We got Stealth Rock up. Mandibus is poisoned. Starmie took a bit of damage. I'm pretty sure Starmie is gonna die after Stealth Rock damage. Too close combat. We should have gone straight into our me and Shao here. The worst thing that could happen. These are a few scenarios that could happen. Our opponent clicking teleport. Right? Our opponent clicking teleport. We still can use fake out against our opponent. Our opponent clicking toxic. I would take that trade every day of the week. If our opponent clicks toxic on our me and Shao, but I get a free close combat up on that team, I will take that any day of the week. A bit of a worst case scenario, Thunder Wave. That could happen, but Mian Shao still outspeeds Blissey, Swampert. Magnezone might be scarfed, but that doesn't matter. We're still faster than Conkeldurr. If Conkeldurr is not running max speed, of course. We will be slower than Mandibus though. That's the only downside. But Starmie is faster than us anyway, so it doesn't matter if he paralyzes us there. If Magnezone is scarfed, he outspeeds us anyway. And he was fearing something like Psychic because he told me, but a Psychic literally does about 60% to me and Shao, and then you get a free close combat of. The game plan was getting up Stealth Rock, clicking buttons with me and Shao. That was the general game plan. But I don't even remember what he was doing here. What did he do here? I'm pretty sure I wrote it because this is the biggest thing we went over. He decided to go into Zone Chansey. Let's see. He clicked Heal Bell. Imagine if he went me and Shao there, right? Imagine if we went me and Shao there. That heal bell is not helping Mandibus if me and Shao is in right now. He basically would have gotten a kill right here. Because now Chansey gets like a free teleport maybe if he has it. He gets a free switch. Because Blissey. Because our Chansey is forced to click Soft Boil. Because we just took Stealth Rock damage. If we switch out again, it's gonna be more difficult switching into Starmie, which might be analytic. So we're forced to click Soft Boil there. So if we went me and Shao there, we wouldn't have needed to predict. And now he goes Conkeldurr, and we kind of need to predict again. Not really, because we just go straight into Among Us. But instead of, we would have been in the opposite situation had we got Mienshao there. Had we got Mienshao there, instead we are now forced to switch into an attack from one of his biggest damage dealers. It goes for Drain Punch, which ends up working out for us because we are chipping down the Conkeldurr. Again, I would have still clicked the Giga Drain there. I think he doubled here actually. Oh no. We still click Giga Drain because we want to force in the Blissey. Mandibus comes in. That's fine. Mandibus is forced to a roost. Manibus is forced to roost there. I think we just go straight into jump or something. We should just go straight into jump. Because if he clicks with roost, we just click Dragon Tail again. Because we basically want to have Stealth Rock up, and we want to force Manibus out, so he has to switch into Stealth Rock when we have Mian Shao in. So I like the Dragon Tail here. Toxic would be fine too, but I think just Dragon Tailing, just because if we didn't have Stealth Rock up, I wouldn't Dragon Tail, of course. But I do like his Dragon Tail. I think he crit us there. But yeah, again, we have this situation again. We want to bring in the Mian Shao here, especially when we saw Heal Bell. But he decided to go for Earthquake, which does absolutely nothing. This is a Spadef Garchomp without any attack investment against the Blissey, which most of the times is running a max defense, but we end up catching the Swampert, which is cool. So the next Earthquake is not killing air, but we don't want to die to an Ice type attack here. So I think this is the turn he goes into Chansey. And... oh, what? Oh! He did go Amoonguss. So we found out this was Ice Beam. I think he switches here.
Let's see, it's at 85.
Again, he made the same exact play again. I would have rather seen Chansey coming in, because we don't really want Amoonguss getting burnt. Because Swampert could have also opted to go for Scald there, trying to fish for a burn, right? I would have liked the Chansey, so we basically get the free teleport. He swaps here. Gets in the Chansey. Gets in the Chansey now.
Sometimes this guy's staying in on the Mandabugs against my Garchomp, not fearing the Toxic.
I think he clicks Wish
so
again.
I don't know if he will switch.
This is really where I would click Teleport there. Instead, because what are we trying to Wish here? The Garchomp again? Garchomp already got up rocks. We want to get in our Mian Shao as much as possible. Because had he gone for the... he should have just gone for the teleport there. Again, we don't need to predict. If we click Wish here, we need to predict on the next turn. For example, if Conkeldurr comes in, we need to predict, because Conkeldurr could go for a bulk up on the chance, expecting the Amoonguss to come in. What are we doing then, right?
Let's see all the time or not. It's kind of scary. And if
we just wasted a turn by clicking Wish here. Conkeldurr comes in there. I wrote it down immediately. Because, just imagine, guys, if we click Teleport and Conkeldurr comes in there, our Mian Shao gets a free kill with Close Combat. We get a Mian Shao, click Close Combat, nothing has to happen. There's no counterplay to that. If we could click Teleport on anything else, it would have been really nice. Because Swampert dies to Close Combat at this point, because he took the Earthquake damage earlier. If he goes Magnezone, we can get in Garchomp, because Garchomp doesn't die to Flash Cannon. We are Spadef. If we go Starmie, we have Mian Shao. We can fake out from there. And in this scenario, we would have gotten in Mian Shao. We don't die to Mach Punch. But yeah, we have to switch here again.
Conkeldurr is almost dead though.
He does go for Drain Punch. So it ends up working out, but we only have seen Drain Punch and Stone Edge, so he can still have Bulk Up. He can still have Ice Punch. So we basically want to avoid those scenarios.
Judging by his last couple plays, He went to the Blissey every time Mungus come in, because he cannot afford to
Here he
lose
should
this
just Giga
build.
Drain again.
So what I'm
But
gonna
I
do
think he
is
anticipated
double
the switch
Mian
into Magnus.
Oh, what the?
Ah! No, he
Wait,
anticipated.
why would we go this?
I wrote it down immediately. Mian Xiao switch. Yeah. This switch. Let me scroll it back a bit. He was expecting Blissey. He even told me. He told me in the voice call. I think he goes Blissey. He went into Mian Xiao. Like before the coaching session, he told me, I'm getting coaching because I want to get better at predicting stuff, doubles, etc. So he makes a really crazy double there. Like a really crazy double. We still haven't seen his last move. Remember? It can be Facade, it can be Ice Punch, it can be whatever. If we switch Mian Xiao to that Ice Punch with Guts, we're gonna take a lot of damage, even die maybe. I would have honestly just stayed in there and Giga Drain. This is a double you don't need to make, because you making this double, you are forcing yourself into a turn in which you have to predict. You clicking Giga Drain here, you don't have to predict at all.
He went to the Blissey every time Mungus come in, because he cannot afford to lose his computer.
But he was expecting the Blissey to come in.
Double Mian Xiao. Oh, what the?
Goes into Magnus Zone, which is most likely scarfed.
So
Shifu comes in. Like I wrote down everything. He does go for fake out there, which is obviously still good.
Yeah, I thought
We fake him out, get a bit of chip there.
He goes into the zone. Like, what if I click score there?
Because the scenario he basically put himself into is, am I going to predict the Volt Switch? Am I going to predict the Flash Cannon? If I go Garchomp on Volt Switch, it would be really nice, but if I go Garchomp on Flash Cannon, I am getting close to dying. So he made obviously the correct player by going into Chansey. We don't have to risk the Garchomp like that. If he clicks Volt Switch, we have a full HP Among Us, so it's still fine. But it's still a scenario in which you have to predict.
What a guy, man! What a guy!
And like I said in the beginning, we want to create moments in which we don't have to predict at all. Now Chansey comes in. It's going to make a really aggressive player by going straight into the Mian Xiao. I don't think it's a necessarily bad play, but we know he has Brave Bird. It's really risky. I think I would have rather seen him going into Garchomp there. Again, we want to force him out without rocks up. With rocks up. Garchomp doesn't die to Foul Play. Doesn't die to Brave Bird. But if our opponent randomly clicks, because you can never assume your opponent is going to click, because you have to wait in all the options. And he went for the taunt. He was predicting the taunt as well. But again, you're forcing yourself to predict. But I don't necessarily think it's a bad play. It's because it's really unlikely that he would click Brave Bird in this position, right? And even if he clicked Brave Bird, Mian Xiao would have died, but he would have still taken recoil damage on his Mandibuzz. But yeah, killing Blissey might have been an issue from there. But yeah, he goes for Fake Out first. Wasn't needed. Because he was hovering his mouse on it. See, 39.2. Close combat, that's at least 43. Let me calc it again. I think I even calked it there, but
he has no switch to this. So
it's doing at least 43. He should have just clicked close combat and not that way. He didn't need to take the extra recoil damage there. And who knows? Maybe your opponent is crazy, right? And maybe he is predicting the fake out. If he goes Magna Zone, you basically lost your opportunity to pick up a kill there. Like, he was too lazy. He admitted it after it as well. When I called him out on it, that he was a bit too lazy to calc there. But if you think you're close to killing the guy, make sure to calc it. be sure, because he would have knocked him out with close combat
Amungus can kill him.
from there. But now you just take a free recoil damage. And like I said, some people are crazy and go into Mag Zone, predicting the fake out, right? And he would have had 10% more HP. Doesn't really matter right now, but you always gotta be a bit picky about the plays. Yeah, Manibus dies there. I think our opponent went into Swampert.
I got pretty good damage on Swampert from Kilder.
I
think this game should
he went for the U-turn.
After I
But
get
Swampert
rid of the Mendabug.
is also just gonna take. Oh, Swampert would have also died from there. So.
Does this thing move Aqua Jet? Okay.
We would have done at least 47, so we would have knocked out the Swampert. But we could have just close combated that guy too. I wrote it down there as well.
Like a free spore, like the freest spore ever.
Because now, like I'm even calking the Swampert there. Mian Shao. There's the Swampert. Made it bold, 47.8.
I know I don't get killed by him.
We would have killed him. But it's completely fine. We spore here. And again,
I think my Mian Shao just win again.
Perfect scenario again to get in Mian Shao.
I get a kill pretty much.
I think we do it this time though.
Unless.
Oh, he forfeits. Yeah, we won that there. But the biggest stake was we have a game plan in the beginning.
He forfeits.
We have a game plan in the beginning, so he moves away. This was the coaching session, but
sure.
we did discuss a lot there after the game, of course. The biggest stake, of course, is just creating the positions in which you don't have to predict. Like the Amungus versus the Manibus, we wouldn't needed to switch out if that Manibus had U-turn and he clicked U-turn there. Skarmory gets trapped and we would have been in a really awkward position. Getting in your Mian Shao there against the Blissey when you get up rocks, following through with the game plan. That's why you always need a general game plan on winning the game. Whenever you see my videos, I usually talk about it as well. Like in this case, get up rocks and click close combat with your Mian Shao. All he needed to do, and he had the opportunities. So he had the opportunities. So that's something to take there. Yeah, most of it. I forgot most of it though. But yeah, that was basically the coach, and we talked about it a lot. And yeah, if you guys are interested in live coaching sessions with me, one-on-one, in a private call, definitely check out my Patreon. You can see it on the right side of the screen. Go to the link in the description to my Patreon page, and yeah, consider getting one-on-one coaching with me. And make sure you have a specific question or something which you want to improve. My boy Daniel wanted to improve in predicting. Hopefully this does give him a good insight. I know my guy usually likes to play hyper offense, and going over to bulky offense balance is obviously a big shift. So really cool that he was still willing to do it, and also really cool that he was okay with me doing this session, with me using this for content. But yeah, really long video. Hopefully it was helpful, hopefully useful to you. And if it was, consider subscribing to the channel. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace out.